Hello and welcome to this maiden episode of Market Update and Equity Analysis with me, Abayomi Obabolujo, on Stocks TV, Nigeria. Every day on this channel, expect the best of equity report on the Nigerian stock market, and not just report, clear-cut analysis and recommendations on equities you can invest in for that very day. We're going to be deploying the tools of fundamentals and, of course, technical analysis. And it's not going to be a one-man show. Other analysts will be joining me on this platform every weekday. So for today, we've got just a few equities to consider. This include FBNH. Is it good for you to buy or not? Guarantee, Access, UBA, Zenith, Dangote Cement, Nigerian Breweries, Guinness, and a few more. You don't get it better anywhere. Stay logged on to Market Update and Equity Analysis with me, Abayomi Obabolujo, only on Stocks TV, Nigeria. I will be right back. Welcome back. The all-share index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange was down last week 2.09%. And as a matter of fact, virtually all other sector indicators for last week were down. Let's look at some of them together. For example, NSE Premium Index was down 0.85%. NSE Mainboard Index was down 2.87%. NSE RSM was flat. NSE 30 Index was down 2.71%. NSE Banking was down 4.51%. NSE Insurance was down 1.81%. NSE Consumer Goods Index was down 2.72%. NSE Oil and Gas was down 1.85%. NSE Lotus was down 1.15%. NSE Industrial Goods down by 3.39%, while NSE Pension Index also was down 2.17%. Technically, what were the major factors against the market for the week ended 5th of August 2016? Let's look at some of them together. The first is the fact that at the national level, there are attractive money market instruments. As we speak, the rates accruable to investors in treasury bills is about 22% per annum. And when you talk about treasury bills, you're talking about less risky investment. So you don't need to begin to look at what the prices of equities are doing on daily basis when you go to invest in treasury bills. And so there's what is called circular flow of funds within the financial market. In other words, the same set of funds move around within the financial market, and these funds are actually looking for where short-term, medium-term, or long-term profitability is attainable. And so when such less risky long-term profitability is eventually found in the money market, what we see is a situation where some of the funds that should naturally come to equities will definitely be diverted. And of course, some of the funds in the equity market currently will also find their ways into treasury instruments. So as we speak, simply because of the last increase in the monetary policy rates, which now stands at 14%. So what we have seen is that money market rates and other treasury instruments are higher than what they were originally. And so because of that, the possibilities are what we have started seeing in the market, particularly for last week. And so what are the possibilities for this week? Now we go to the charts, because the only tools you could deploy to knowing specifically or to a larger percentage of precision is if you learn to use charts. Basically, some indicators, as I can see now, if you ask me, yes, I can tell by looking at the MFI, that is money flow index. The market for this week will still largely operate under huge pressure. That is much as I can see by the performances of money flow index for last week. But again, looking at some other indicators here, I like using Williams percentage, I like using Bollinger Band, I like using stochastic, I like using RSI, and of course momentum. Of course, some of them are generally momentum indicators, but I like using different types, and I like to see what they say as far as the market is concerned at any point in time, particularly for Monday, the 8th day of August 2016, beginning the week. From what I can see, beginning to look at, from the candlestick, I can still say that yes, the market is down. The market is down. However, most of these indicators are actually currently dwelling at oversold level. So really, if the major equities that have lots of weight on the All-Share Index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange should hold firm today, being Monday, and will not come down, we might see the All-Share Index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange trying to maintain a stable outlook. But majorly, the market is under severe pressure. Why? There are better opportunities. There are less risky opportunities. When you see that within the economic system where a stock market operates, the possibility is that for that period, the market, that is the stock market, will continue to receive some beating. So I just want for today to open this platform, to open this program. There are major equities that I know that most of the investors within the Nigerian stock market will have investment in. I've been in the market for about 26 years, and I can tell you, by not even looking at any document, equities that will always command attentions on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So today, the basis of the equities we're going to be analyzing using indicators will not be as a result of the performances of these equities in the previous week, but on the strength of what is notable within the Nigerian equity market, that some equities naturally do command attentions more than the rest. And so I will take you through the list within the time available for us, and we see the number of them we can cover. I want to say a very big thank you to you for logging on. And you will do me a lot of favor if you endeavor to get this link forwarded to a friend, a colleague, a family member. I want to ensure that this information reaches out, because I assure you that with the content we are going to be providing you, subsequently, there is no platform as far as internet is concerned that comes near that. That is the promise of this platform. Okay, so today, let's take off with FBN. You see, for FBN, there is this apathy as we speak. And what are the sources of this apathy? There are lots of, do I say, misinformation going about the market. There's this fear. Yeah, the level of impairment, we have not had the rest of it. There are still lots to be heard. Management and, of course, board performances and whatever. But looking at the second quarter report of FBNH, I can tell you that 98 kobo earning per share is not bad enough for a stock that closed with a price of 3 naira 33 kobo on Friday, the 5th of August 2016. Now, looking at the figures before me, because again on Friday, the price of FBNH actually closed 3% down. All right? So if you look at the current price of this equity, I can tell you that FBNH is selling at about the least price in the last 2 years, since 2014 July. FBNH is selling at about the least price. Looking at the indicators here, as at August 8th of 2014, the price of FBNH was actually 15 naira 42 kobo. As a matter of fact, as at that particular date, FBNH touched a high of 15 naira 48 kobo. Now, if you ask me what the current level of performances depict, I would definitely tell you that the indicators are actually looking a little bit up. Now, it is a good time, if you ask me, to buy the stock of FBNH. On Friday, it closed at the price of 3 naira 30 kobo. In fact, it touched a low of 3 naira 29 kobo and a high of 3 naira 39 kobo. Of course, if you look at the momentum of this equity, it is gradually rising. The RSI is gradually rising, and then some other indicators like the stochastic and the Williams percentage are gradually looking up, but they are still within the region where you should actually be looking at the equity to buy. If you talk about the MACD, as at now I can tell the MACD is a little bit flat, all right? But okay, the MACD is actually bearish. So in the near term, all right, we can say that the equity of FBNH, the price is actually bearish, all right? Are we saying that we will still see the price of FBNH lower than this level? So the conclusion is that if you ask me at this point and at this price, on the strength of the second quarter earnings and of course the indicators before me, FBNH is Bible. That is not to say that the price cannot still move a little bit lower than this. So we go to the next equity I want us to look at today, which is UBA. Why am I interested in UBA? It is one of those frontline banks in the Nigerian financial market. And of course, the information at the market arena about UBA is that the second quarter report is going to come in an audited format. Everybody knows that already. And by that, it suggests that an interim dividend is being expected. And if that is the case, it makes the stock of UBA attractive at this level. So if you match fundamental possibilities also in fundamentals, and of course indicators together, what we may likely see is a situation where UBA between now and the time the result is eventually released has the probability of trending low. As a matter of fact, if you look at most of the indicators before me, they're actually pointing down, which suggests that the price of UBA might likely relapse. And towards the period, the result is being expected in the market anytime between the third week of August. Position taking, strategic position taking in UBA becomes attractive. The dividend might be 10 kobo, might be 25 kobo, but again, how many banks so far so good has declared an interim dividend? So as I speak to you, to me, UBA is an equity to watch. Let me take you through another equity, Guarantee. There are a few factors that make Guarantee very attractive. Number one, the float is not so much in the market. Number two, there's a huge presence of foreign investors in the equity. But again, the organization has released to the market that there's going to be delay in the report or in the release of the second quarter report. And because of that, the result is going to be audited and probably presented to the CBN. And so what we expect is also an interim dividend. If we want to go by the past, we will be expecting something in the region of 25 kobo interim dividend from Guarantee. But if we want to go by what the indicators before me here are telling me now, I can say that the price of GT Bank might still likely relapse a little bit. So the next equity I want us to look at is Zenith. Zenith also has similar features as UBA and Guarantee. Yes, we are expecting an interim dividend because the second quarter report is going to come in as audited, but the indicators are showing that the equity might still need to relapse a little bit because, of course, you expect a lot of profit taken at this period. People are actually looking for how to divest from the market and face some other less risky investment with now improved or enhanced returns. That's the possibility. So let's look at Access. These are the equities I like to consider often the same way. The charts or the indicators of UBA and that of Zenith and of course Guarantee is showing. In Access Bank, we're expecting second quarter report as audited. I'm very sure that the second quarter report of Access is going to be very fantastic. But between now and then, when the second quarter report is expected to be released to the market, probably between the end of August and middle of September, the price of Access Bank will relapse a little bit. We look at Nigerian breweries. That is one equity that also commands attention on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And so for Friday, Nigerian breweries actually lost 1.5%. And for the better part of last week, the performances were actually weak, mixed rather. For example, on Friday of last week, Nigerian breweries lost 1.5%. On Thursday, it gained 1.8%, and then lost 0.4% on Wednesday, and on Tuesday lost 0.6%, and on Monday of last week it lost 2.9%. So what are the possibilities for this week? Well, going by market performances, it is still very likely that the price of Nigerian breweries will relapse a little bit. But you know that often we do see a second quarter report with interim dividend from Nigerian breweries. We did not get that for this time around. But again, it's a strong equity, all right? But of course, with what is happening currently on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange as we speak now, Nigerian breweries is looking a little bit weak, just like the market itself is a little bit weak. Dangote Cement, what are the possibilities for today? Dangote Cement is still trending down, but I keep saying for Dangote Cement, it is an equity that you look beyond what the temporary performance is. It is a stock that you can buy and hold simply because of the fact that the demand of the product from Dangote Cement is inelastic. Even if the price is increased from this level, the probability that the equity or the company will begin to lose money is slim. The only factor militating against maybe Nigerian breweries and of course Dangote Cement is the fluctuation in the rate at which the Nigerian currency exchanges with its international counterpart, particularly the dollar. So let's look at Dangote Flour Mill. This is one equity that has transformed over the years. From 2007, when it was listed on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, it was Dangote Flour. Later, it became Tiger Brands, and very recently, it reverted back to its old name. So if I look at the indicators before me for today, the probability is that Dangote Flour is going to look a little bit weak. That's one equity that has announced to the market that it's coming with about 20 billion naira bond. As far as I'm concerned, that is not a good information because you are coming to the market to float 20 billion naira bond at when the interest element, the MPR is 14, so you are not going to be paying anything below 17, 18% per annum on this investment, except it's going to be convertible. So we look at Wema Bank PLC. For what I'm saying now, of course, the second quarter report from Wema Bank is very positive relative to previous performances. But from what I'm saying now, I can tell that some of these indicators are showing that the equity of Wema Bank, as we speak, is still largely weak. Of course, we look at some other equities. We look at Guinness, which is one of the major equities listed on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. If I should consider the indicators before me, I will say that Guinness is looking a little bit positive. All right, the indicators are actually within a buying range. Of course, last week Friday, Guinness was up 0.05%. But what is the MACD saying? In the near term, the MACD is actually bearish for Guinness. But for today, the possibility is that the price of Guinness might inch up a little bit. That is as far as Guinness is concerned. Yes, we look at Mansard Insurance. That is one insurance company that keeps attracting investors' attention on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So for Mansard, last week Friday, it was up 2.0%. And so what are the possibilities? It is still within buy range. However, 2 or 3 of the indicators are looking down. And that suggests to me that the outlook for Mansard for this week is actually very mixed. So anything is possible. Let's look at Custodian and Allied Insurance. Wow, it's too high. All right, so I will not be recommending that anyone should invest in Custodian and Allied at this level. So we look at Dangote Sugar before we round off on the program for this maiden edition. At this price, Dangote Sugar also is actually still looking viable, particularly at this time. This is all about we can take for today. But of course, this is just the maiden edition. There are other analysts that will soon be joining me on this program. All right. I promise that it can only be better. All right. And I want to believe that you have enjoyed even the little bit we've been able to do together for this period. Until we get to meet again, I remain yours sincerely in wealth creation, its accumulation and preservation via the stock market. Abayomi Obabolujo is my name. Take care. Bye for now. Hope to see you again.